welcome back to my channel, Side Hustle Seattle. So I wanted to do a little bit of a quick check-in just to let you guys know what I've been doing since trying to be a fully remote online notary, fully remote online signing agent. So I'll be honest, it's still a struggle. I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend and lie like it isn't. I try to be as transparent as possible. I'll definitely go into a little bit more some of the more like signing agent things that I've tried in a video I have coming out in a couple days. But today I want to talk about two things that I did that I feel like will help me in the future. One for more peace of mind, the other one to help me get more general notary work. So two things that I did over this past week or so have been, I got an EIN, so that's employer identification number. And then I also created a little bit of a website. So a website in air quotes, all right? It's not the best, but it is something. So I wanna tell you kind of about why I got an EIN and then also talk to you about this website that I put together. So first things first, the EIN. So if you've ever signed up for a signing service or have tried to sign up on different, if you've ever tried to get signing agent work, then you know that they always ask for a W-9, which makes sense. You have to pay taxes if they're going to be paying you. But at the same time, obviously your W-9 has your social security number on it. And for me, I'm not comfortable giving out my social security number like that. And not in that capacity. It'd be different if I was going to one company and working with one service. That's one thing. But when you're signing up for these services, you can be signing up for tens, hundreds of different places, like 100+ places. And I just can't imagine giving out my social security number 100+ times. It just makes me uncomfortable. And so I really wanted to make sure that I had an employer identification number. And then also I wanted to make sure I had a business name. Now I know I didn't want to create an LLC. I don't think I'm anywhere near a point where I should get an LLC or even need an LLC. But at least I can lock down the business name itself. So I went ahead and went on the IRS website and I got an employer identification number. It's actually extremely straightforward, extremely easy. Of course, it's free. And it takes like 10 minutes and you get your EIN right away. So all they ask you, some basic questions to make sure you actually need an EIN. You put what kind of business you're doing it for, and then you just give them your name, the name that you want to use for your business. As far as my business name, I went with Snow's Notary Service. Snow because that's my last name, which you wouldn't have known. But yeah, so Snow is my last name. But when it's Snow's Notary Service, I was going to at first do like Snow's Notary and Signing Agent, something or other, or Snow's Remote Online Notary, something or other. I decided to keep it as like generic as possible, just in case I decided one day that I didn't only want to do remote online notary stuff. So I decided to make it a little bit more generic. I will say when you're filling out your business name, you can't put special characters in it, or you can't put all special characters in it. So Snow's, of course, needs the apostrophe S. But you can't put an apostrophe, so I just went Snow's Notary Service just straight across. And then of course when I actually market it and put it on stuff, it's going to have the apostrophe S and be grammatically correct. But yes, I do have that. Again, extremely easy, free. Go on the IRS website. I will link where you go to get it in the description if that is helpful at all. And again, multiple reasons. One, now I don't have to share my SSN. But then also when I'm filing taxes, it'll make it a little bit easier for me to file my taxes, my business, for my notary stuff separately than I do for my other job. So I kind of like the separation as well. So it's one of the things that I did. I'm glad I got it out the way. For whatever reason, I was nervous about it. Like, I don't know, it felt like such a big step to get an EIN. It's not, it's fine. Go for it if you want to go for it. It is not a big deal. Second thing is I made a website. So I figured if I'm trying to get generic notary work, just general notary work, especially if I'm trying to do remote online notary work, it's a little bit easier to have something I can link to, whether I'm, trying to market myself on Google, on Fiverr, on whatever service. It's easier, and I feel like it looks a little bit more reputable to link to a website than to just be like, yo, call me at such and such number, or hit me up on such and such email. And so I wanted to make sure though that it was free, because I am trying to do all of this as cost effective as humanly possible, mainly because I don't want to spend more money than I have to. And so one of the free ways I know you can make a website is through Blogger. So Google owns something called Blogger. It's essentially a blog site. And it is free. As long as you have a Gmail, you can make a Blogger account. And even though it's technically set up to be a blog, you can 100% make it look like a website, like no question. The only thing you can't do in it is I believe you can't add a point of sale. So if you want to like, have people check out something in your website, I don't know what you would be selling, but if you're like selling something, you can't make it a point of sale, I believe. That's really the only thing. But it is free and you can link a domain name to it. So what I decided to do is I decided to buy the domain name Snow's Notary Service, and it was like $12 a year, so that's nothing. And then I just linked it to my free blogger. So now if you go to snowsnotaryservice.com, it'll pop up my website and my blogger website. But let's get into it. I want to show you what it looks like. Here's the thing, y'all. I'm open to feedback. I know what I'm good at. I know what I need to work on. Design that's not where I thrive. That's not what I do. I do not have the vision when it comes to design. I can give you content. I can't necessarily give you design. So this website is not going to be the best thing you've ever seen, but it's not the worst. But I am open to feedback. So take a look at it. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments. What should I change? What should I add? Do you think the site looks bootleg? Like, would you absolutely not trust it if you were a customer? But anyways, yes, let's go into it and I'll show you what it looks like. Right, so first things first, I just want to show you my website. So again, I am not a designer. That is not where I thrive, but I am proud of what I've made so far. So you're gonna see a lot of purples and things like that. Purple is actually my favorite color, so I added some of that in there. But just from the beginning, again, you can see that it is at snowsnotaryservice.com. So what I actually did is I bought a Google domain. So same thing as like going to a GoDaddy or whatever the case. If you wanna buy a web domain, you have to go to one of those sites. It's super cheap. It's typically like $12 a year. So I bought snowsnotaryservice.com. So you can see that if you type it in again, .com is not available, but you can buy .org, .net, .us for just the $12 a year. I also bought Side Hustle. Well, I tried to buy SideHustleSeattle and it wasn't available. So I bought SideHustleSeattle because I want to make a website for the work that I do through that too. But once I got the domain, super easy because Google owns, of course, Google Domains and Blogger. Really easy to just tie my domain to my Blogger site. And it's easy to unpair it too. So if for whatever reason I no longer want this domain tied to my Blogger site, but I want it tied to, a Wix or a whatever other website, I can do that as well. But here we are. I put a little badge right at the top that says my name, says I'm a remote online notary, has my NNA badge right there, just so they know I'm certified, I'm trained and background checked. Hopefully that makes them feel like I'm a little bit more legit and safe. Somebody in the comments actually a couple of months ago asked me where to get the badges from in the NNA, and I finally found it. So I will link to where you have to go if you've actually been certified and trained through the NNA, then you can actually find it. On the side, I just have my picture. Your eyes are not deceiving you. That is as blurry as it looks. I just took it off of Facebook. I haven't taken headshots in so long. And I'm like, I just need a picture up there. I need to actually go get some professional headshots done. But so I just have my picture right there. Of course, my basic information, my contact information, my email, my phone number. This is actually not my real phone number. This is a Google Voice number. And Google Voice is it's a free service that Google offers where you can essentially get a phone number that you could tie to your personal number. So I'm not doing a good job explaining this, but essentially, it'll route calls to my personal number. So somebody can call this, text this, and then the call will actually get routed to my own personal phone number. And it's an easy way for me to disassociate myself if I needed to. So for whatever reason, I decided I no longer want to do this business, or I no longer want people to be reaching out for me for this work. I can easily just disconnect my personal phone number from this phone number instead of having to go back and change my personal phone number that I've had since I was in like middle school. So I decided to go that route with my Google Voice number. And then also I created a Fiverr account because I figured that would be a good way to get my information out there. So I just linked my Fiverr account right there. And Fiverr is just like, think of it like a TaskRabbit almost, where people just put some like services that they do. A lot of times they tend to be a little bit more technical. So like people on there for web design and video editing and things like that, but I have seen some remote online notaries on there. So I decided to make one as well. My availability and just my contact form. So just in case people don't want to reach out to me directly via email or phone, they can just reach out through the contact form and that will route to my email itself. And then again, I just put the NNA badge on the bottom. I have my fees listed. So I didn't have to do it like this. I could have just listed them out. without the little border in the box. For whatever reason, I just thought that looked better. But yeah, $25 single document, $6 for each additional document, and then $10 if you're making requests outside of business hours. So $25 is like the legal limit in Washington. Granted, I can charge for platform fees, etc., all these different things, but I just decided to keep it $25. And then if you need like 3 documents notarized, I'm not going to charge you $25 for each of them. I'm just going to charge you $6 for each additional document that you need within the same session. And then if you, for whatever reason, have requests outside of my business hours, so like I'm only available to 10 p.m., but if you're like, hey, I really need you at 11 p.m., that is fine, but you will get charged for it. And then I just didn't add any sort of fees for loan signing documents because there's a lot of different documents, a lot of different fees. And to be clear, I'm not 100% confident that I know the right fees to charge. So I was like, just reach out to me and we can figure it out from there versus me listing a bunch of stuff on the website. And then I just have a quick how it works. So I imagine if nobody's ever gotten a document notarized online, they're going to be confused. So I wanted to make sure that they had some step-by-steps about how it would work when we actually work together and how we're in the process of actually getting your document notarized. So I wrote down the steps. And in the event that they did not want to read what I said, I also linked a video. So Live Notary is who I'm using for my general notary work. And so they actually already had a video about what it looks like for a signer's perspective. So I was like, instead of me reinventing the wheel, trying to create my own video for that, I would just go ahead and embed the YouTube video. And that was super easy. Now I could go in and like tell you how I made it and all of that stuff. There's a lot better videos out there about how to use Blogger and how to edit and how to do all of that. So I don't want to confuse you. So I'll definitely just link to some of the better videos about how to edit and how to do all of that. But yeah, let me know what you think. What do you think of the website? Do you think it looks good? Would you trust it? What would you change? I'm totally open to the feedback. Also, I will say it looks a lot better on the phone for whatever reason. On the phone, it actually looks great. So I would just link to that. But yeah, I am totally open to whatever feedback you may have for me when it comes to this site. Now, this is a question for everybody who does do general notary work, whether it be remote or mobile. How do you go about marketing yourself? Like, I've actually never had to market myself really for anything. I work a 9-to-5 job that has nothing to do with like sales or anything like that. I don't market myself in that job. I don't have to. So yeah, how do you go about marketing yourself? How do you get your name out there? How do you get business? That's what I'm interested in. So I'm trying a bunch of different things and I'll make videos on what I've tried, but I would love to hear from people who have some more experience about how you've gone about doing it. Do you have a website? Do you post on Google? Do you post on Craigslist? Do you post on wherever? I would really love to hear that information. Go ahead and throw that in the comments. And of course, if you have any questions for me, let me know. And as always, thank you for watching.